Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Eric Schwartz, Web3 tycoon and head of Web3 at Sterlington. Please join me in welcoming my close friend, brain sales team lead Lana. Please introduce yourself to the audience, Lana.
Yeah, my name is Lana Medvedyk. I'm from Kiev, Ukraine, but I'm working with the company Brains, who has an offices in Europe, Berlin, and partner offices in USA as well. We have been on the market more than 10 years, and we always willing to work with the cutting edge technologies. So I think we were the first team on a market who decided to work with Web3 technologies because they think it's very united technology and it could revolutionize the business and how we do business as well. Mostly, I think because it's only my opinion, but mostly Web3 is good because it's transparent. It's very transparent. You always can explore, can find out about your assets and about all its origin and everything. But the main objective what we faced with our client was Web3 is uncertain, it's overcomplicated, and all this kind of stuff. And that is why we start doing how to help people to be involved of this all modern Web3 world without having a cryptocurrency, without having a MetaMask and all these issues. And first, we invent a possibility to buy an NFT without a cryptocurrency, just from your ordinary card. And then we invented a bot who can sell your NFT assets via social media such as Instagram, Facebook, and it could be done very easy with bot working automatically now with help with artificial intelligence as well. And it can increase your revenue. I think approximately per 1 year, €1 or $1 per one follower, uh, approximately. It's our market research, and it's what our clients received from the followers. And then we combine it all together, and we received all brand new and very interesting ecosystem. And now we are launching it like a SaaS product on the market even. We will be launching it, I think, soon in a week or two. I
That's
think it will,
incredible.
yeah, thank you. I think it will be very helpful for people, for music bands, for record label, for people who want to get rid of these slavery from record labels, from a big record labels, or big record companies, or from streaming services such as Spotify, etc., because they don't. I know for sure they don't get enough. I'm sorry, they don't give enough money for musicians. Really, you receive from these services very small amount of money, but we want to musicians to have all amount of money for their own music, or for people who are uh, creating another NFT like an images. We want they have a full amount of money and all amount of money that they could get from their followers. So that was the main point of our system mainly.
That's incredible. And I know that
Thank
creators really greatly appreciate everything you guys have built over the past decade and literally throughout the entirety of the ecosystem. You guys have been building these incredible Web3 products. Um, and I think what's most interesting is like you guys managed to do it also fighting a war, which is pretty
Yeah.
incredible, or at least Yulana personally. I know the rest of the team has escaped Ukraine and is now in Germany, but I mean, I wanted to talk to you more about your experience about the fight and how you've seen Web3 builders working on their projects on the day during the day and fighting on the internet at night and just a little bit more about on the ground what's going on in Ukraine and how people everywhere can be helpful to you guys because I know that they want to be.
Yeah. It's not that easy, but you see, we have community here in Ukraine, and we are willing and always was helpful to each other. We are very close, even not your relatives, not your friends. It's not about friends and relatives. We are very close. So if it's happened, bad thing happened with somebody, you will receive as I think 10 or 20 hands to help you. Really, it's difficult, but because we are united and we are helping each other 24/7. Really, it's very incredible. You could call to people you were hardly known before the trial, but now you can call them in the middle of the night and they will help you. For me, it was incredible. This one gets us very united, and so that is why we have never stopped our development even without electricity. Okay, this winter was severe for us. Some of our development don't have electricity for I think for days, but we have a generators and they worked through the mobile internet generators, Starlinks, and we were working.
You guys are incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a huge feat. I mean, most people would worry for their lives, not for their projects. And I what I would say is just like I am so inspired by everything you guys are going through, and I also think Ukraine is just such an incredible site of what I would call like the top Web3 developers. It's probably not well known outside of really insider Web3 circles, but some of the absolute best Web3 developers in the world are Ukrainian. Which is so interesting that this war is taking place right there at the site of so much technological innovation, almost in many ways like an analogy for the past coming to an end and Ukraine potentially winning this war because that's kind of where I mean it's almost like the future is fighting the past right now
Yeah.
and and I mean it's sad to me in every single possible way. I mean, my family has Ukrainian descent. My not beyond just my own family, people who are like family to me are Ukrainian like 100%. And I just think it's hard. And I am also Russian, so just to speak more broadly, and I would just say it's very hard for me to see the situation other than than a power that has kind of expired, you know, like that is really just a dangling um historical power fighting with such an incredible like intellectual breeding ground. I mean and I think the story is super unique because I just can't even think of another situation where that's happened where the war has started in a place so central and so critical to the technological innovations on a global scale. It's very unique. And so I we our hearts are with you guys. And honestly, I don't even the saddest part about this is it doesn't seem to be the Russian people that are fighting you at all. It's just one man. And
No, unfortunately, it's not the true. It's not the true. I had I still have, yeah, one close friend from Russia. Still have because, and that is why I still thinking that where is a good Russian in the world. He's a great man with a very big heart, really. But he told me when this war started in the February, he called me and asked how could I help. I said, just kill Putin or go on a strike or do something. He said, I can't because the authority in the Moscow, they already knew that he was against he was in with Navalny, he was against all this. And he said, just as soon as I came from my apartment, I had two people followed me, two policemen. And he said, I just can't be against because they just will take me and put me in a prison for no reason. And he flew away. He now is living, I think, in Kazakhstan now. But he decided to fly away. He loved his country, and I think he still loves his country. He still loves his country, and he decided to fly. He said to me that I decided to fly. I decided to leave my country when. Okay, first he said that first he think that he's okay with his mind, but everybody else is insane. All propaganda, all people around him who is telling him we have to fight with Ukrainian and all this bullshit. But then, because of all this propaganda, because of all these people who was around him, he said, I just began to think that I am insane. They all good. I'm insane. And at that point, he decided to go away from the Moscow.
I
That is
think
why
that's
it's not only Putin. Unfortunately, it's not only Putin.
and it's
It's
catching.
because
It sounds like it's
yeah,
catching. Like
it's a propaganda. It's because of all this propaganda because they are always saying that we are bad. The United States is an evil, pure evil, and we have to fight. They're still thinking that they are fighting here with you guys.
that's the reality of it, and all they're doing is just harming. I mean, in many ways, people who are probably closer to relations than anything else. I mean, we're talking about you guys have been cohabitating in that land for a very long time. I mean, and most of that period was like farming settlements where there was no clear border. So
Yeah.
we're all the same people, and it's just, I mean, I think this has been the constant plague of Russia in my view. It's just like attempting to um other people, really,
Yeah.
which is the exact opposite of true, because I mean, I'm as Ukrainian as I am Lithuanian, right? Like I mean, and I have like every kind of like that area in my background, and so many American people do. And I think it's really hard for us. We just think of, first of all, this situation as awful. Like we understand that it doesn't make any sense for Ukraine to be fighting the United States' battle, or whatever we want to call this situation. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, because Russia is essentially afraid to to fight the battle where it might matter. You know,
Yeah.
where there be real issues for them with respect to
Yeah.
doing so. And I think that's just a form of cowardice. I mean, really. If you want to act like a coward on the global scale, I mean, Putin certainly has. Like, and that's I mean, and the reality is, I don't think anyone can view this in any other way. I do think the escalation of things in his view, like, and I understand that he viewed a lot of American activity as escalating activity, but at the same time, I mean, Ukraine had nothing to do with it. So it's
We
just
don't care.
it's like a very
Really, we don't care.
confusing situation.
It's we have I don't know, proverb or saying or some fact. Then Putin decided to scare us with a nuclear bomb. We said, okay, we will go to a party. And every time when its issue is coming up, when Putin said, okay, we will send you a nuclear bomb, we said, okay, we will go for a party. We don't care. You see, a lot of our cities are damaged so severe that it is the same that they put these 2 or 10 nuclear bombs on it. For example, Mariupol is destroyed completely. It was city with over, I think, 100,000 people were living there before war. Now it's destroyed completely. Bakhmut as well. It's had the population before war. It had the population more than 10 or 20,000 people. Now it's destroyed completely till the ground.
And these are such beautiful places. I mean, that's the other thing, like such cultural sites. I mean, I'm so sorry to you and to everyone who's experiencing this, because like at the end of the day, we didn't need another ground war. I think the next war will be, the funny thing is, I think he's just creating so much animosity towards Russia in what I would view as like the future ruling class. Like the shadowy supercoders are mostly Ukrainian. And so like he is just really, I mean, he picked a fight with the wrong people, I would say. I think he had a very, very naivete about it. He viewed you guys as people who are small and populous, but he didn't understand the intellect behind the people of Ukraine. And I think he will forever be remembered as the person who forgot that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like missing that reality, because what's interesting is like there's two wars really, right? There's the war in Ukraine, and then there's the war that's going on in Web3 between CBDCs and digital currencies. And I think Ukraine has been in many ways like the revolution for Web3, you know, like the reason why Web3 is important. And I hope that some of these products have helped you, Lana. Like I hope so. And I hope that your keys are safe, and that your project and family and everyone is safe too. And I couldn't, after, and just so everyone knows, I met Lana yesterday. I had this incredible conversation with her. I couldn't wait to have this podcast any further, so we literally scheduled it the next day. And and I just want everyone to know how much incredible building Lana and her team and many teams like them are doing in Ukraine, and how important all of that will be for this Web3 evolution that we're seeing occur. And it's not just a ground war. It's a technological war, and Russia is, from a technological perspective, far, far, far less competent than Ukraine. So, so
but they're studying. They're studying.
They're trying to catch up. Yeah. You
Studying.
guys showed them they needed to, I think.
They're studying. They're studying. The people whom I know who are fighting on the front line, they said that they are studying. They now have more drones on fireground, like on a battlefield, than they had last year. And they found the supplies from, for example, China. And unfortunately, some of technology, some of part of these drones are coming from you guys, from United States.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and the business of war is always terrible. I mean, it's
Yeah,
something that I try to be as far away from as I can, and I mean, it's just it's just terrible, and I'm not surprised because I know that we are funding you guys significantly, but in all conflicts, there's just a lot of money to be made, and
yeah,
so that doesn't surprise me, and but I still think it's worth apologizing to you for it because I think at the end of the day, like we just we have to be better than that. And I hope that America provides you a lot more, not just
yeah,
funds, but
definitely.
general support,
That
you know?
that is the main point. Your support are, I think, 100 as much as bigger your support in money, 100% as bigger than your company receive as revenue for these small parts to drones that they receive in the revenue. So you are your government willing to uh, invest in our country, and we are very grateful for this very big amount of money in weapon, in some social money for social programs, and your company receiving so little amount of money by selling all this product. I don't know. When, okay, you see, when this war will end, you won't have to send out so many weapons, and you won't have to send out so many help. But but in another case, some of your company decide, no, 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 we will send these small chips to make this war longer. I don't understand it.
I don't understand it either. It's because it's just such a complicated web of interests, you know?
Yeah,
And but I think I mean, people who aren't interested, like I'm not interested. Like and like from like a financial perspective, I just really care about like Web3 and I can tell you, I
yeah,
mean, there's a very clear divide and Russia is not on the I mean, we don't want to see this weird CBDC that they've created backed by by their energy reserve. Like that's not exciting. No, I mean it's certainly not something that Web3 is
yeah. It's
excited
good.
about. And I'd say like purely from the I guess the one thing I will say is you guys you're on the right side from a technological perspective, and I
Yeah,
think
we
there's
have
so
to.
little that they can do to change that. So like at the end of the day, like it's hard for me to understand how they seriously consider I would just be like because now you've created a diaspora community that is hyper intellectual, that is even more dangerous. I mean, that's like what happens when you spread a whole bunch of Jews all over the world and then you let them exterminate some. And the Mossad let everyone know exactly what happens when you do things like that. And I think diaspora communities generally are very powerful because they create what can lead to much better intel departments within the individual country as well. So if they wanted to make Ukraine super powerful, I think they certainly accomplished that.
Definitely, definitely, because we have to. At the beginning of this war, we had very little amount of weapons. We almost had nothing. We almost had nothing at the beginning of this war. So we have to create some very interesting way how we could fight with Russians. So we have to be very smart to to fight with them and to win this war. And we still have to, because they still have a priority on air, we still have a priority in artillery. So that is why we are always asking for a modern weapon, because they still have priority. They still have more weapon than we are still having now. So it's, yes, that is why we have
Absolutely.
to be very careful and very smart. And you see, and another big difference between our army and Russian. We are thinking about each our soldiers, each our man, each our person is count. Uh, our uh, army officers, our authorities, Zelensky and Zaluzhny, they thought about every soldier on this battlefield. It's important, and these differ us from Russians because they don't think about thousands of soldiers. They don't care, really. Nobody of their high generals, nobody of their authorities thinking about their people. They just can say that you have to go to this, I don't know, to this forest, and I don't care if you will die. They don't care. We are care. That is why we have to be smart to be alive.
And to thrive. I mean, you guys are also at the command in all these top Web3 projects or sitting in the CTO seat silently, but there. So I think
Mm.
like what people should know is that Ukraine is fighting a battle on two different types of battlegrounds. One having to do with the future of finance in Web3, where they are absolutely destroying, I would say, almost everyone really. and then and
Thank
then
you. Thank
and
you.
then and then one where a would-be invader has attempted to infiltrate the situs of the most important technological evolution of our time. I mean, we just there's no other way to look at this, right? Like
Yeah.
every loss of a Ukrainian life is an important loss of someone who within our Web3 ecosystem. And I think that is a huge loss. And I think the difference that you guys are treating that with is so important for a lot of different reasons. I mean, first of all, because of humanity, but second of all,
Mm.
because of there's a lot of information in these soldiers' heads that
Yeah.
cannot be recreated. That
Yeah.
it cannot be um, reverse engineered. And I think people need to really understand how important the intellect of these soldiers is to. It's not just that they're fighting on at the front, but they're also coming home and building the technology of the future, and that's why we need to support them.
We are building technology every single day, really. On the battlefield, we are building a new system to launch some troops to working with each other, and and even your U.S. officer said that some of our systems are unique, really. And in a Web3 environment, we are building some new and some very unique products. And I think Web3 be will give the business and will give the technology a new breath, a new fresh air, because it's too about community. It's too about helping each other. It's too about creating something valuable. So this is another war. We are now in a global scale. We are fighting with the old business system who don't care, who are cared only about money and income and all this stuff. But Web3 is not only about money, it's about values, it's about transparency. And this is great. Really, I imagine world without borderlines. It will be great. And I think Web3 will lead to this world without borderlines. I hope.
I can't put it better than that, and I couldn't imagine a better way to end this conversation.
Yeah.
Lana, thank you so much for coming on and
Thank you.
educating me and this community,
Oh my God.
and for being a hero, because you are. Web3, we hope you'll join us next week to continue our journey unraveling the mysteries and exploring the limitless possibilities of the new internet.
Thank you. Thank you, Eris.